Hey, it's MiWilderness again. I went out yesterday with that field yarrow and tried it as a bug repellent, and it didn't seem to work very well, really, once the test was complete. But I'm going to try it again today with this domesticated yarrow, which has a yellow flower head, and it has a much stronger smell than the field yarrow. And all you need to do these leaves strip off real easy just by running your hand down the stalk. Crush these leaves up in your hands to release the oils and stuff, and then just go through and rub it on your skin really good wherever you think you're going to get bit by bugs, just like you would any other insect repellent. Around your cheeks, around your ears, around your neck. And I'd suggest taking a whole bunch with you, because my experience with using plants as a bug repellent is the effect, if any, wears off within 10 minutes to a half an hour, and you need to reapply it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gather up a whole bunch of this. I'm going to stuff both pockets full, and I'm going to head out to the bush and see how this stuff works. So if you want, you can meet me there. Hey, how's it going? Well, here we are at the woods, and I got my pockets stuffed full of that domestic yarrow, and I can see the deer flies swarming my car when I first pulled up, so I know the bugs are going to be bad. I'm just going to crush some of this up like I showed you before and rub it all over the areas that I tend to get bit. There's really nothing to it, just take the leaves, crush them up, and rub it wherever you don't want the bugs to bite you. But since I'm doing this, I figured I'd throw out a couple more basic tips. I know there's a lot of new people getting into the wilderness, and maybe they don't have mentors or whatever to teach them the very basics of getting out in the woods. And one of the things in the summertime is, as far as keeping bugs off of you, if you wear dull clothing like olive drab in particular, or camouflage, the bugs won't bother you nearly as bad as if you wear white or red or bright green. Dull colors is the trick. Also, if you wear long sleeve pants or long sleeve shirts and pants, the bugs won't get to you nearly as bad either. And in the summertime that can be difficult, but it's kind of a trade-off, It's, do you want to get ate up with bugs? Do you want to put a chemical like DEET on your skin that might cause you long-term health problems? Or would you rather be hot and sweaty? Those are your three options up until now with this yarrow, which is fairly safe as far as I can tell. I would say do your own research on the plant and make sure that you're not allergic to it. I don't know if there are any allergies reported with yarrow or not, but it's always best to do your own research on stuff before you start using it. But that's pretty much it. Get the back of my neck a little bit here. Those leaves will break up and get on your skin, but it brushes right off. And it actually has a pretty good smell. Well, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna hit the woods and see if I can't find some mushrooms or some wild plants to pick and eat. And also see how this yarrow works as a bug repellent, you know. If it works good, then maybe I won't have to wear this hat. Maybe I won't have to wear a long sleeve shirt and pants in the summertime. You know, maybe I can dress cool and comfortable and just rub a little of this yarrow on me to keep the bugs off. I got both of my cargo pants pockets stuffed full of the leaves of about 10 to 15 yarrow plants. Because I think I'm going to need to reapply this often for it to work. But let's hit the road and I'll update you along the way. Well, that's not the best sign. As soon as I hit the woods, the deer flies swarmed me, and this one is just sucking down on my, he's biting me and biting me. And I definitely rubbed yarrow in that spot. I got a couple mosquitoes buzzing me too. I'm gonna rub a little more on that spot and hopefully they won't attack me anymore. Another tip, you know, another basic summer hiking tip is if you do get attacked by mosquitoes and deer flies, try your very best not to swat at them. If anything, just calmly brush them off. Because as soon as you swat at them, that's like ringing the dinner bell, and they will just be on you like flies on a bushcrafter. Well, it's 11:15. I put that yarrow on about 3 minutes ago, and I just had a mosquito land on my camera hand and it was gonna bite me. I'm getting seriously swarmed by mosquitoes and deer flies, and only that one deer fly and mosquito has landed on me so far. And so compared to 100% DEET, which is my go-to if I really need it, which I hate to use it, I'd say it's working equally well at this point. But we're only, 5 minutes into the test here. I'm gonna get up here a bit, and there's a spot I want to check for some black trumpet mushrooms. I'll stop and sit still for a minute and see if I get lighted on and if I start getting bit. Well, they're definitely trying to get me. Whether they are or not is another question. There's a mosquito just lighted on my hand, but he didn't bite me, he took off. I had to reapply some to my neck already, and it's only been about, let's see here. Now it's 11:22 now, so it's been about 10 minutes since I applied it. I got one on my wrist trying to bite me. apply just a little bit more to that spot, because I might have missed it. It definitely helps to squish it up real good before you apply it, because it releases those oils or whatever's in there that repel the bugs. Does a much better job releasing those. I am definitely being swarmed by mosquitoes. It kind of would be impossible for me to show it to you on this camera because they're so small, you know. But I've only been bit twice so far. Once on the neck by a mosquito. I just got bit once more on the arm by a mosquito. And once on the wrist here by that deer fly. I rubbed the Yarrow on that spot where that deer fly bit me, and it didn't do anything to take away the itch from the bite, but I don't think it's supposed to. I was just curious if it would. Hoping to find some jewelweed so I can rub it on that. Oh, there's some blueberries that grow back in here. I think I'm too late for the blueberries. I always forget about them because they come in pretty early, and I end up getting there too late to pick any. Yeah, the mosquitoes are definitely starting to bite me again just after 10 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and reapply some of this. And hopefully it'll keep those suckers at bay. But I'm having a feeling that it's not going to. You know, you hear all kinds of stuff online. People saying this works for this and this works for that, but I don't think those people ever really tried the stuff, you know. Because if they did, they would realize right away that Yarrow really doesn't work as a bug repellent. You know, if you need to apply it every 10 minutes, and during that 10 minutes you're still getting bit by mosquitoes and deer flies, then it's really not effective. But I'm going to go ahead and give a good second application here. And maybe after a second application it'll work a little better. When I use 100% DEET, I don't spray it on my skin. I spray it on my clothes. And if it's really bad, I'll take just a little bit and blot it, you know, on behind my ears maybe. on the sensitive part of my neck or whatever. Maybe just a little bit on my cheeks, but I try to avoid that DEET at all, if at all possible. The best thing I've found for mosquitoes is just wearing long sleeve clothing that covers my skin, and if necessary a bug net over my head. The only problem with wearing a bug net is, for me anyway, when I'm hunting for mushrooms and other wild edibles, it sometimes makes it hard to spot them. Especially mushrooms. Not so much not so much plants, but for mushrooms, a lot of them have a tendency to blend in pretty good to the forest floor, and that little bit of obstruction from the netting of that bug net makes it harder to spot them. But yeah, I got so assaulted back there by the mosquitoes that I kind of gave up on the blueberry hunt, because it's just not worth it. I'd have to get in there much deeper to the blueberries, and I'm not trusting this Yarrow as a bug repellent. I went out yesterday with the field Yarrow, and it was enough to get me into the woods, deep into the woods, but once I got deep into the woods it let me down, and I was basically stuck up a creek without a paddle at that point. But I reapplied that and it is working again. For how long is yet to be determined. And it's 11:30 now, so we'll see. But as far as a bug repellent, I'm thinking ixnay on the Yarrow. I mean, I believe it is working to an extent, but that extent is really not enough to claim it as being effective as a bug repellent. You know, and I swear, if you type in Yarrow, you just into a Google search engine or something, you get so many sites and people and blogs claiming that Yarrow is an insect repellent. I mean, Ray Mears did a video and he showed himself rubbing it on his skin just like I did, and he said it was a bug repellent, but you know, it's not. I mean, it's not a bug repellent. It might repel 1 out of 100 bugs. I mean, I don't know if you can hear it, but I am literally just being swarmed and attacked, and I have just covered myself in Yarrow. Covered myself. I covered myself at about 12 after 11, and I started getting munched at about a quarter after, and I covered myself again at around 11:28, 11:30, and here it is. I don't know if you can see that, it's 11:36, and I'm just being assaulted, you know. It doesn't even last 10 minutes. Alright, well, I applied that Yarrow several times, as I showed you, and the most relief I got was maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and it needed to be reapplied every 2 or 3 minutes. I mean, I couldn't reapply it enough to keep the mosquitoes and deer flies off me. I got bit a bunch of times, I got bit once by a deer fly when I first applied it, immediately after applying it. He sat there and bit me over and over again. And I reapplied the Yarrow and then entered the woods, and the mosquitoes just ate me alive. So Yarrow as a bug repellent, a big fail. Big zero in my book. It does not work. Only other thing I can tell you is what does work is finding a spot like this. This river at this point faces east-west, so there's a nice breeze flowing through here. So the breeze helps keep the mosquitoes at bay. Also, this river is shallow enough that I could walk down the center of it, and that would help keep the mosquitoes at bay, because when you're in the water, the mosquitoes tend to not come after you as much. Now this is a pretty narrow river, so they might still come out and get you, but it won't be as bad as walking through the thick grass or the woods. The other tip would be, if you're in an area with ridges, oak ridges or whatever type of ridges, if you stay up high on those ridges, there's usually more wind, and that will help keep the mosquitoes at bay. And that's about all I got for mosquito bites. I've heard, you know, so many people say Yarrow works as a bug repellent, and it just does not work. I tried field Yarrow and a domestic Yarrow, which is much stronger, and neither one worked for more than 10 minutes as a bug repellent. And really the average time between applications, I made probably 8 different applications of the repellent, and I would say the average time it took for me to just begin to get bombarded by mosquitoes and deer flies was about 3 minutes. So I would say it works effectively for 2 to 3 minutes on average, and that's about it. And in my book, that's not effective at all. I got 2 pockets stuffed full of Yarrow. I've already went through 1 pocket full, and it had only been I think maybe a half hour, and I had made it about a half mile down the trail, and I had investigated several spots for wild edibles in that time. I was driven off from several patches of wild plants and edibles that I wanted to videotape because I just couldn't handle the onslaught of mosquitoes. As soon as I stopped, they just tore me up big time. I got bites all over my arms, and I got a couple on my neck, a couple on my face. But if you find jewelweed, which usually grows in low areas like this where there are lots of mosquitoes, that is a very effective cure for mosquito and bug bites. Very, very effective. I'm just gonna sit here and relax now and take a break from all those mosquitoes attacking me. When I first come up to this spot, there's some little shallow backwater areas right here in this bend, and there was about a 16-inch largemouth sitting right next to shore in about 6 inches of water. But he slowly moved off before I had a chance to get the camera going. Alright, well, you take care. I hope this was informative for you. It definitely was informative for me. I know not to rely on Yarrow as a bug repellent now. I know from experience. Have a good day.